The alien market on Virella Prime smelled like a mix of burnt copper, ozone and fruit syrup. Captain Elias Ward wrinkled his nose and adjusted his translator earpiece as the crowd pulsed around him. Traders of a dozen species shouting prices, arguing over alloys, and occasionally hissing in languages his device couldn't even process. He loved it. Chaos meant life, and life was always better than silence. His crew trailed behind him, 5 humans on loan to the Galactic Commerce Corps, each more nervous than the last. This was the first open negotiation between humans and the Virellans, a feline-descended species that had recently joined the Accord. They were larger, faster, and legendarily territorial. And the woman, or rather the Virellan, he was about to meet was their top diplomat, Ambassador Shira of the Crescent Claw dynasty. Beginning. Elias had read the brief. Avoid physical contact. Maintain eye level. Do not imitate vocalizations. Straightforward enough. The note that puzzled him most, though, was the one scribbled by some analyst in margin. If a Virellan purrs, acknowledge politely, but do not respond in kind. He wasn't sure what that meant. Respond in kind. Was purring contagious? The meeting chamber was circular, decorated with soft light and textured walls that seemed to shimmer when Shira entered. Her fur was patterned like storm clouds, silver and black, and her eyes glowed faintly green in the dim light. When she smiled, Elias swore the air temperature dropped a degree. "Captain Ward," she said, voice smooth and melodic. "Human liaison to the Commerce Corps. You've come a long way." Elias grinned, doing his best to match her calm tone. "And from what I've seen, it was worth the trip. Virella Prime is stunning." Her ears flicked, and she made a low, rippling sound in her chest, almost like laughter but deeper. The translator didn't render it. He guessed it was amusement. Then a soft vibration followed, a low, resonant purr. It was subtle, almost hypnotic. Elias chuckled before he could stop himself. "Careful, Ambassador. Keep that up, and I'll think you're flirting." The room went silent. Behind him, his aide, Lieutenant Rana, inhaled sharply. Shira tilted her head, the glow in her eyes narrowing slightly. "Flirting," she repeated, as if testing the word. Elias raised his hands, still smiling. "Just a joke, human humor." She studied him for a long moment. Then she nodded once, and that strange melodic purr came again. "Understood, Captain. Humor." But she didn't look away. The negotiations went smoothly after that. Too smoothly, in fact. Shira seemed amused by everything he said, and her attention never drifted. Every time Elias cracked a joke, that soft, rolling purr would return. Her tone would drop lower. Her body would angle closer. By the third meeting, even his translator was giving up, flashing soft warnings. Nonverbal cues untranslatable, cultural unknowns detected. When he mentioned this to Rana later, she grimaced. "Sir, I think you should review the diplomatic handbook again." Elias frowned. "Why?" She tapped a screen and enlarged a section labeled Cultural Notes, Virellan Interpersonal Cues. Purring during conversation is a sign of selection interest. Extended eye contact indicates a courtship phase. If reciprocated, the ritual concludes with the offering of den space. Elias blinked. "Wait, den space." Rana sighed. "Essentially, cohabitation. Permanently." He laughed it off. "So what, you're saying she's hitting on me?" "Sir," Rana said flatly, "she's not hitting on you. She's mating bonding." Elias grinned, not believing it. "You're overreacting." Middle. The following week, Shira invited him to tour her home territory on the southern continent. It wasn't a formal request. It was personal. Her shuttle was sleek and silent, lined with soft fabric and glowing runes. The city fell away below them as they soared across crystal plains and towering blue trees. "You seem uneasy," she said, glancing at him from the pilot's seat. Elias shook his head. "Just taking it all in. You live in a beautiful world." Her tail flicked lazily, an unmistakable sign of pleasure. "And yet you look at it as if you'll never see it again." He chuckled. "Maybe I won't. Humans don't get out this far often." Shira's gaze softened. Perhaps that should change. They landed on a ridge overlooking a valley full of silver light. A waterfall glowed with bioluminescent algae, and mist sparkled like starlight. Shira gestured for him to follow down a winding path that led into a cavern lined with glowing crystals. "This," she said, "is my den." Elias blinked. "You live here." "It is ancestral," she replied. "Passed through my line for 9 generations. Only those I trust may enter." He looked around, awe overtaking his diplomatic restraint. "It's incredible." Shira stepped closer. "You mock my purr, Captain Ward," she said quietly, "but you do not understand its meaning. Among my people, sound is truth. We do not purr for amusement. It is choice." Elias swallowed. "Choice?" Her pupils widened. "We purr when we find resonance. When another's presence calms the storm within. You made me purr, Elias Ward. And you laughed." "I didn't know," he said softly. "I thought that it was a joke." Her tone carried no anger, just quiet challenge. He nodded. "Yeah." Shira's ears angled forward. "Then learn, human. Because the moment you made me purr, I began choosing." 4 days afterward, Elias couldn't focus. The negotiations blurred into background noise. His dreams were filled with her voice, that strange vibration that had lingered in his chest long after he left her den. Even Rana noticed. "Sir, you're distracted." He rubbed his temples. "She said she's choosing me. What does that even mean?" Rana sighed. "It means, sir, that unless you formally reject her, soon, you'll be bonded under Virellan custom. That's lifelong." Elias frowned. "But I can't just reject an ambassador. That could insult her species." "Then you might have to accept it," Rana said grimly. "Because the alternative is an interstellar incident." He leaned back, running a hand through his hair. "So my choices are, offend her entire species, or become someone's alien husband." "Essentially," Rana said. "Yes." Turning point. That evening, Shira visited his quarters. No guards, no attendants. Just her standing in the doorway, her fur catching the hallway light like molten silver. "I sense your fear," she said softly. Elias tried to smile. "I'm not afraid. Just confused." She stepped inside, the door sealing behind her. "Then let me make it clear." The room seemed smaller with her in it. She moved with deliberate grace, the air thick with her scent, cool metal and starlight. "I have studied human bonding," she murmured. "You use humor to hide emotion. You laugh when you wish to flee." Elias exhaled. "You're not wrong." She tilted her head, curious. "Then why did you laugh at my purr?" He hesitated. "Because it was beautiful. And I didn't know how to respond." For the first time, Shira blinked. Slowly, thoughtfully. "Then you did respond. You resonated." She reached out, claws retracted, and brushed her fingers against his arm. "You feel it too." He didn't pull away. Climax. Word of their closeness spread fast. The human delegation grew uneasy. Command sent messages urging him to maintain professional boundaries. But Elias couldn't. Not anymore. When he returned to her den, the glowstones shimmered brighter than before. Shira waited beside a shallow pool, her reflection rippling across the water. "Are you ready to understand?" she asked. Elias swallowed. "Teach me." She began to hum, a vibration that echoed in the stones in the air in his bones. The purr was more than sound. It was a harmonic, resonating frequency that synchronized heartbeats. He felt it in his chest, like a second pulse aligning with his own. "This is what we share," she whispered. "It is how we bond. Not through words, not through vows. Through resonance. Two frequencies finding one pattern." Elias felt his knees weaken. "And if I let it happen, then you will be part of my den. My kin will guard you. My name will shelter you. You will never be alone again." He closed his eyes. The hum grew deeper, vibrating through every nerve. When he opened them, her forehead was resting against his. He could feel her heartbeat in perfect sync with his own. "I accept," he said. The glow intensified until the world vanished in white light. Ending. When Elias awoke, he was lying in the den, wrapped in soft fabric that pulsed faintly with light. Shira sat beside him, eyes half closed in contentment. "It is done," she murmured. "Your frequency is ours now." He sat up, dizzy but calm. "I feel different." "You are different," she said. "You are no longer alone among stars." He smiled faintly. "Does this mean I'm officially part of your den?" She purred again, soft and steady. "You mock no longer. You belong." Months later, human and Virellan trade routes flourished. Cooperation deepened beyond anyone's expectations. Diplomats from both sides noted that cultural integration had never progressed so fast. And at the center of it all was Captain Elias Ward, human liaison, interspecies bridge, and the first man ever to be formally bonded to a Virellan ambassador. In private, his crew often joked that he'd slept his way into peace. He didn't mind, because every time Shira purred beside him, the sound that once embarrassed him now filled the air like a lullaby of two worlds finally in harmony. He'd thought it was a joke, but it turned out to be destiny.